Hello, my name is Michael Coffey and I'm Professor of Mental Health Care at Swansea University. Suicide and self-harm are pressing problems for all contemporary societies. In the UK, the numbers of people self-harming or completing suicide remain largely static, with particular need among certain parts of the population for help. Economic problems in particular can make the picture seem bleak. However, there are things we can all do, such as talking to friends and family about what is bothering us, seeking help from a wider support network, speaking to your GP or to charities that specialize in supporting people when they feel hopeless, and sometimes too, seeking help from mental health services. Now, one issue that we have seen is that mental health services, for various reasons, have been focused on assessing risk of harm, sometimes for the purposes of an imagined prediction of future events. The notion of trying to predict future risk behaviours, however, has largely failed. It is also perhaps the wrong place to focus on how to help people. Risk assessment, for example, is a poor predictor, and it can lead services to be overly coercive, controlling, and even to resist collaborating with the person themselves to prevent risk events. In our research, we found that people were rarely involved in their risk assessments, sometimes not even knowing that they had taken place. More than this, we found that people were even less likely to be involved in plans to manage their risk and to keep themselves safe. That seems to be a wasted opportunity, as people have knowledge they can contribute. There is a different way to help, however. Last year, colleagues at the NHS Delivery Unit Cymru and the Welsh Chief Nurse's Office commissioned me to write an evidence brief on a different approach. I looked for published studies that researched collaborative approaches involving people directly in developing safety plans. These studies offer grounds to be optimistic that there is a different way to help people stay safe. This is sometimes referred to as person-centered or collaborative safety planning. We have seen examples of colleagues publishing research on this in other countries, and here in the UK, there have been some great attempts to help people stay safe. With that in mind, I'm really pleased to see the programme of events for today include for mental health and connecting with people who will be showing you their safety planning tool. So what is person-centered safety planning then? Person-centered safety planning is the active involvement of the person in assessments of risk and subsequent planning to maintain and promote their safety. It places the person at the center of planning and involves them directly in developing a plan to stay safe. It involves practical steps that they and others can take, for instance, who to contact for support, and it is based on an agreement between the person and the people providing support. One underpinning idea is that people who require support and that they themselves have important knowledge, experience, and expertise that is often a missing ingredient in plans when professionals write them. Making use of this knowledge can help improve safety plans and make them more meaningful. When we say person-centered, what do we mean? The Health Foundation suggests 4 principles of person-centered care. These are affording people dignity, compassion, and respect, offering coordinated care, support, or treatment, offering personalized care, support, or treatment, and supporting people to recognize and develop their own strengths and abilities, and to enable them to live an independent and fulfilling life. These are all principles that anyone providing good quality care and support should aspire to. An important underpinning concept in safety planning is that people are meaningfully engaged in discussions about their safety rather than excluded from these discussions. There's a growing literature now to support the practice of direct involvement, even when people are experiencing acute mental distress. The evidence remains limited, however, but nevertheless, interventions such as open dialogue, for example, have been shown to be feasible and are being adopted internationally. So what might person-centered safety planning look like? One approach from the United States is called the safety planning intervention, and this has been shown to have some promise, although we have not seen if it works in the UK, people who use our own mental health services here. The approach involves a series of steps that engage with the person and collaborate with them at each point. First, there has to be a comprehensive risk assessment. And then this is followed by a collaboratively developed safety plan that addresses the recognition of warning signs, the use of internal coping strategies, making use of social contacts for support, asking family members or friends for help, contacting mental health services, and removing lethal means. This approach is reported to improve engagement with services and reduce suicidal behaviour. There are some other approaches using similar focus, but also that place a very strong emphasis on the therapeutic relationship or alliance, on empathy and collaboration to assess and agree a plan of safety. Sharing important decisions on care is now more common across all health conditions. And we're now seeing attempts to introduce and evaluate shared decision-making in mental health care too. In our research here, we have shown that when people have less conflict about decisions in their care, they also have higher quality of life. We need more evidence, though, on the benefits and the challenges of safety planning. But it seems to be something that people using services want. It does seem to help when it's done well, and it seems to be an improvement on the way that risk is usually handled. Safety planning is a change of emphasis from the dark and negative language of risk, and instead towards something more useful, perhaps, hope. And hope is something we all need to provide. Thank you for your time in listening to my short discussion on safety planning.